There are moments when anger explodes inside you like fire, moments when irritation burns your chest, and you feel as if the entire world has conspired to test your patience. You know these moments well. They arrive uninvited, in an insult from someone who doesn't respect you, in a betrayal from someone you trusted, in the everyday annoyances that accumulate until you can no longer contain yourself. And in those moments, anger takes control. It drives your words, it pushes your actions, and when it leaves ruins behind. Have you noticed how anger always leaves ruins? It never builds. It only destroys. But here is the hidden truth that the Stoics discovered. Anger is not an unstoppable force. It is not a monster that you must serve. It is a chain you can break. What if you could destroy your anger? What if you could step into conflict and remain calm, step into insult and remain steady, step into betrayal and remain whole? What if nothing could ever disturb your peace again? This is what the Stoics trained for. They did not live in calm times. They lived in chaos, in war, in betrayal, in political storms that could end their lives at any moment. And yet, men like, who ruled an empire surrounded by enemies, kept his mind calm enough to write words of serenity that still guide us today, who served a cruel emperor and lived under constant threat of death, taught himself to master his emotions so that anger would never master him, who was born a slave and endured suffering most of us cannot imagine, declared that no insult, no pain, no cruelty could touch the freedom of his inner self. If they could live without being destroyed by anger, so can you. The first Stoic rule for destroying anger is to remember that anger is a choice, not a destiny. When someone offends you, the offense itself is outside your control, but your reaction, that is yours. Epictetus said it simply, "It is not things that disturb us, but our judgments about them." You think anger is automatic, but it is not. Between the event and your reaction, there is a space. In that space lies your freedom. Anger rushes to fill it if you do not pause, but if you claim that space, even for a breath, you realize you are free. No one can make you angry without your permission. No one can force your peace to be broken unless you hand them the key. Do not hand it over. The second rule is to see the cost of anger before you surrender to it. Seneca wrote entire letters about this. He warned that anger is a form of madness. Think about that. When you are angry, you act against yourself. You hurt the people you love. You destroy the trust you need. You waste the time that cannot be returned. Anger promises power, but it delivers weakness. It promises control, but it leaves you ashamed. The Stoics taught themselves to look ahead. If I give in to anger, what will it cost me? How many relationships have been broken by words said in heat? How many opportunities lost? How much regret created? When you see the cost clearly, anger loses its disguise. It can no longer seduce you. The third rule is to practice the pause. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations that when you are provoked, you must remind yourself, this is just a moment. Why should it have the power to disturb me? He trained himself to pause, to breathe, to look at the person not as an enemy, but as a fellow human trapped in ignorance. The pause is your weapon. It gives you space to see clearly, to remember your principles, to choose your response. Anger rushes like fire, but the pause is water. Every time you pause, you weaken anger's grip. Every time you pause, you strengthen your control. The fourth rule is to remember how small the provocations are compared to the universe. Marcus Aurelius looked at the stars at night and reminded himself that his life, his problems, his insults, were dust compared to eternity. Why waste a soul capable of greatness on something so small? Most of the things that make you angry are nothing more than small inconveniences dressed as catastrophes. The Stoic shrinks them back to their true size. That person who cut you off in traffic, dust. That rude comment, dust. That betrayal, Painful, yes, but still dust compared to the vastness of time. Anger makes the small appear large. Philosophy returns the large perspective. And in that perspective, anger cannot survive. The fifth rule is to expect insults before they arrive. Seneca advised this. The wise person is never surprised by the faults of others. People will be rude. They will be selfish. They will betray. This is the way of the world. Why, then, do we act shocked every time it happens? The Stoic expects it. He rehearses it in his mind. When someone insults you, you can say, "I knew this was coming, and I prepared for it." The blow loses its power when you see it before it lands. Anger feeds on surprise. Remove surprise, and anger weakens. The sixth rule is to turn anger into pity, not fire. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "When someone wrongs you, it is because they do not know the good. It is ignorance, not malice, that drives most human cruelty. When you see this, you stop burning with rage and begin to see with compassion. Not compassion that excuses, but compassion that frees you from the poison of hate. To pity the ignorant is to remain above them. To burn with anger is to sink to their level. Which will you choose? The seventh rule is to use anger as a mirror, not a master. Every time anger rises, it reveals something within you that is still vulnerable. Why did that word cut so deep? Why did that slight disturb your peace? The Stoics turned inward, using each irritation as a lesson. If an insult wounds me, it is not the insult but my ego that bleeds. If a delay enrages me, it is my impatience exposed. Anger shows you where you are still weak. If you use it as a mirror, you grow stronger. If you let it master you, you remain fragile. The eighth rule, the final one, is to replace anger with gratitude. This is the Stoic paradox. The same event that could provoke rage can also provoke thanks. Epictetus said, "Do not wish for events to happen as you want, but wish for them to happen as they do, and your life will flow well. When insult comes, be grateful for the chance to practice patience. When betrayal comes, be grateful for the chance to practice resilience. When annoyance comes, be grateful for the chance to practice serenity. Gratitude transforms poison into medicine. It turns the fires of anger into the light of wisdom." And now, pause with me for a moment. If these words are reaching you, if you feel the weight of truth pressing into your heart, then do not let this be only a passing moment. Take action. Subscribe to this channel now, not just as another click, but as a way to step closer to God, to be blessed every day with stories and teachings that bring light into your soul. And in the comments, write the words that you want to carry with you against anger, serenity, patience, gratitude, peace, clarity, light. Write them not as decoration, but as a vow. When you write serenity, you are choosing it. When you write peace, you are building it. When you write gratitude, you are living it. Because the battle against anger is not won in a single moment. It is won in the choices you make every day. It is won when you remember that anger is not destiny, but decision. It is won when you see its cost, when you practice the pause, when you shrink problems back to their true size, when you expect what others will do, when you turn anger into pity, when you use it as a mirror, and when you transform it with gratitude. Follow these 8 rules, and you will not only destroy anger, you will replace it with peace. You will not only silence irritation, you will awaken serenity. And when you live like this, you will not only control your emotions, you will master your life. You already know that anger destroys more than it protects. You have seen how it promises control, but leaves only regret. You have felt how irritation steals your peace and burns away your energy. And now, with the first steps of Stoic practice alive in your mind, we must go deeper. Because anger is not only an emotion, it is a habit. It is a reflex that has been trained into you through years of living in a world that provokes, distracts, and demands. If you want to destroy anger, you must retrain yourself. You must not only resist it, you must replace it. The Stoics saw life as a training ground. Every moment was practice. Told his students, when you are disturbed, do not say, I have been harmed, but say, I have been tested. This is the essence of Stoic transformation. The insult is not an attack, it is a test. The inconvenience is not a curse, it is a test. The betrayal is not your ruin, it is a test, and the test is always the same. Will you hand over your peace, or will you keep it? Think of the Roman emperor who carried the weight of an empire collapsing around him. Enemies on every border, plagues within the city, betrayal from his own generals. How easy it would have been for him to burn with rage, to let his power become cruelty. And yet, in the stillness of his tent at night, he wrote to himself, when you wake in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly, but they cannot harm me. Why? Because his peace was not in their hands. His peace was in his own reasoned choice. This is the first practice of the deeper rules. Rehearse the world before it comes. Anger thrives on surprise. But if you wake each day already prepared for insult, already prepared for rudeness, already prepared for betrayal, anger has no soil to grow in. You expected it. You saw it before it arrived. And so, when it comes, you remain calm. Rehearsal is protection. The next practice is to shrink your self-importance. So much anger is born from wounded pride. Someone disrespected you. Someone ignored you. Someone failed to recognize your worth. But the Stoics remind us, you are not the center of the universe. You are a small part of a vast design. The sun will not pause its course because you were insulted. The stars will not rearrange themselves because you were ignored. When you see your true size, the flames of pride begin to cool. Seneca wrote that the wise man is not touched by insult, because insult cannot reach the soul that knows its own measure. When you make yourself smaller, anger loses its grip. Another practice is to direct your energy inward, not outward. Anger is always pointing out, at others, at the world, at fate. But Epictetus said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. In other words, stop caring about what others do or think. Care about what you can control. Your own judgments, your own choices, your own actions. Anger looks outward and wastes itself. Discipline looks inward and builds strength. Every time you feel anger rising, ask yourself, am I focusing outward or am I focusing inward? That question alone can break anger's chain. There is also the practice of delay. Seneca warned, the greatest cure for anger is time. He told his friend, count to 10, or walk away, or sleep on it, and you will see that the fire cools. How many regrets could have been avoided if only time had been allowed to work? Anger is urgent. It demands immediate reaction. Wisdom delays. Wisdom says, let me breathe. Let me wait. Let me see clearly before I act. And when you delay, you discover that most of what seemed unbearable was, in truth, nothing at all. Marcus Aurelius also practiced transforming the view. He looked at those who wronged him and said, they act from ignorance. If I had the same beliefs, the same upbringing, the same fears, I would act the same way. How can I be angry at them when I see they are prisoners of their own blindness? This practice is powerful. It dissolves rage into pity, irritation into understanding. Not the kind of understanding that excuses wrongdoing, but the kind that frees your own soul from poison. You can still act firmly, you can still protect yourself, but you act without rage. And when you act without rage, you act with clarity. The Stoics also advised meditation on mortality. When you feel anger rising, remember, life is short. Time is fleeing. Why waste even an hour in rage? Seneca wrote, how foolish to spend in anger the short time we have when every breath brings us closer to death. Imagine yourself at the end of your life, looking back. Will you be proud of the hours you wasted in irritation, or will you wish you had guarded them with peace? Anger looks large in the moment, but under the shadow of death, it shrinks into nothing. Another practice is to train the body as well as the mind. The Stoics were not only thinkers, they disciplined themselves physically. Cold baths, simple meals, endurance of hardship, all were ways of reminding themselves that discomfort is not the enemy. Why is this important? Because so much anger arises from discomfort. You are tired, and so you snap. You are hungry, and so you lash out. You are inconvenienced, and so you explode. But if you train yourself to endure discomfort, you weaken anger's fuel. You remind yourself, I can bear this. I am stronger than this. And when the body is disciplined, the mind becomes calm. But perhaps the deepest practice is gratitude in adversity. Epictetus told his students, do not look at difficulties as enemies. Look at them as exercises. If someone insults you, thank them for the chance to strengthen your patience. If someone betrays you, thank them for the chance to strengthen your resilience. If someone irritates you, thank them for the chance to strengthen your serenity. Gratitude transforms the battlefield of life. What once made you furious now makes you strong. What once made you bitter now makes you grateful. Gratitude is the philosopher's shield. Let me tell you the secret that ties all these practices together. Anger is not destroyed by force. It is destroyed by replacement. You cannot simply say, I will not be angry. That is like telling fire not to burn. But you can replace anger with calm. You can replace rage with pity. You can replace irritation with gratitude. Every time you replace, the fire grows smaller. Every time you replace, the fortress of peace grows stronger. Do not be surprised if anger still visits you. Even Marcus Aurelius admitted that he struggled with it daily. Even Seneca confessed to moments of weakness. Even Epictetus admitted that progress is slow. But the difference is this. The untrained man serves anger like a master. The Stoic uses anger like a servant that reveals his weaknesses, that trains his discipline, that sharpens his patience. This is mastery. So, remember the deeper rules. Rehearse insults before they come. Shrink your pride, focus inward, not outward. Delay your reaction. Transform your view. Meditate on mortality. Train your body, and give thanks in adversity. These are not quick tricks. They are lifelong practices. They will not make you immune overnight. But with time, with patience, with discipline, they will make you unshakable. And when the world looks at you, when they see insults slide off you, when they see betrayal met with calm, when they see irritation fail to move you, they will wonder, what secret does this person have? They will not know, but you will. It will not be rage. It will not be irritation. It will be Stoic peace, earned through discipline, built through practice, kept through wisdom. You have walked far already. You have seen anger for what it really is. A thief disguised as a protector. A weakness pretending to be strength. You have learned the rules that strip away its power, that expose its lies, that replace it with serenity. But now comes the final work. Because the Stoic path is not just to resist anger when it appears. The Stoic path is to transform your whole life into a fortress where anger cannot enter. A life so well built, so well guarded, that peace is not an occasional visitor but a permanent resident. Think of the ancient philosophers who lived by these principles, did not wait until rage boiled over before he sought calm. He cultivated calm daily, in every choice, in every word, in every action. He built his soul as carefully as he ruled his empire, trained his mind not only in letters but in living, reminding himself each morning that he would meet fools and traitors, and that only a fool allows a fool to steal his peace, though born into chains, declared himself freer than the men who owned him, because no man could make him angry without his consent. These were not men who merely managed anger, they destroyed it. They lived beyond it. The ninth practice, which completes the circle, is vigilance. Anger is patient. It waits for your guard to drop. It lurks in moments of fatigue, in hunger, in stress, in wounded pride. To live without anger, you must live watchfully. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be like the watchman, waiting for dawn. Every day you must watch your thoughts. Every day you must ask, am I seeing this clearly? Or am I twisting it with pride? Am I choosing calm? Or am I feeding fire?" Vigilance does not mean living in fear. It means living awake. It means living with open eyes, refusing to drift into the sleep where anger takes control. The 10th practice is forgiveness. Anger feeds on memory. It takes old wounds and reopens them. It whispers, "Remember how they hurt you. Remember how they betrayed you. Remember how they mocked you." The Stoic answer is simple: let it go. Epictetus reminded his students, "If you want to be free, let go of the past." Forgiveness is not weakness. Forgiveness is freedom. You are not excusing their actions. You are excusing yourself from carrying them any longer. The past cannot be changed, but it can chain you if you let it. Forgiveness cuts the chain. The 11th practice is to master your inner dialogue. Anger is not only loud outside, it is loud inside. It whispers thoughts that fuel the fire. "How dare they? I won't stand for this. They must pay." This inner voice is more dangerous than the insult itself. But here is what Marcus Aurelius did. He answered back. He reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. You must do the same. When your mind begins to fuel anger, answer it. Say, 'This is not worthy of me. This is beneath my soul. This is not who I am.' And as you correct your thoughts, your emotions follow." The 12th practice is humility. Anger often comes from believing we deserve more than we received, more respect, more recognition, more obedience. But the Stoics remind us, you are not entitled to a world that obeys your wishes. The world owes you nothing. Life owes you nothing. Once you see this, entitlement dissolves, and with it, the anger it breeds. Seneca wrote, "We are born into a kingdom where obedience is owed," meaning, the universe is greater than us. Our role is to accept it, not to rage against it. Humility cools the fire. The 13th practice is to strengthen your sense of purpose. Anger is aimless. It is wasted energy, scattered in every direction. But when your life has a higher purpose, anger loses its attraction. A soldier on a mission does not stop to argue with children in the street. A builder constructing a temple does not pause to curse the dust. When you know your purpose, you rise above petty provocations. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "You have one job, to be a good man." What is your job? What is your purpose? When you live for something higher, anger becomes too small to touch you. The 14th practice is to cultivate stillness, not silence only, but true inner stillness. In a noisy world, stillness is a radical act. It is in stillness that you see clearly. It is in stillness that you recover your strength. Anger thrives in noise, in chaos, in hurry. Stillness suffocates it. Create stillness daily. Sit without distraction. Breathe, reflect, read, pray. The Stoics did this not as escape, but as preparation. Stillness is not retreat, it is training. It is sharpening your sword before the battle. And with stillness, you walk into conflict already armed with peace. The 15th and final practice is to live every day as if it were your last. This is the heart of Stoicism. Memento mori. Remember that you must die. When you live with death in mind, anger seems absurd. Why waste an hour in rage when tomorrow is not promised? Why burn with irritation when life is too short to be squandered? Seneca said, "We are dying every day." Marcus said, "Do not act as if you had 10,000 years." Epictetus said, "Death is not frightening, but the fear of death is." When you see life as short, precious, fragile, anger dissolves like smoke. Now the circle is complete. To destroy anger, you must claim your freedom of choice. See its cost. Practice the pause. Shrink your pride. Expect insult. Turn anger into pity. Use it as a mirror. Replace it with gratitude. Remain vigilant. Forgive. Master your thoughts. Humble yourself. Focus on purpose. Cultivate stillness, and remember death. 15 practices. 8 rules expanded into a full way of life. This is not philosophy as theory. This is philosophy as armor. And when you wear this armor, anger cannot pierce you. Irritation cannot wound you. Rage cannot control you. You walk in peace no matter the storm. Imagine yourself now, living this way. An insult comes, you remain calm. A betrayal strikes, you remain steady. 1,000 small irritations rise, you remain unshaken. You have built within yourself a fortress. You have destroyed the chains that once bound you. You have mastered not only your anger, but your life. This is the Stoic promise. This is the Stoic gift. And if you have walked with me through this entire journey, if you feel the truth of these words burning in your chest, then take this final step. Subscribe to this channel, not as routine, but as a sacred act, as a way to walk closer to God, to be blessed each day with wisdom that feeds your soul. And in the comments, write the words that will seal your vow: peace, serenity, forgiveness, strength, light, eternity. Write them as blessings over your life. Write them as seeds planted in your future. Each word a declaration. Each word a promise. Because now you know how to destroy anger. Now you know how to master irritation. Now you know how to dominate peace. The world will not understand at first. They will wonder why nothing moves you anymore, why insults slide away, why storms leave you calm, but you will not need to explain. Your peace will explain for you. Your calm will shine brighter than words, and your life, lived in serenity, will be your answer.